evening, friends. MagicBrad, SynergyCafe. Do you have your beverage of choice? Hopefully it's coffee or tea or something healthy, because we've got there he is. We've got a health person online here, and his name is Drew. And his last name is McCaughey, but he calls himself Drew Mac because people can't pronounce McCaughey right. Drew, you there?
I am here, Brad. Thanks for having me. Great to be here. Love the little cafe setting you've got in the background there.
Yeah, actually, this is in our den. We're up in New York right now. My wife's writing a book, so we took a little bit of time away from Asheville, and we're up here just kind of hanging out. And so it is kind of, I do a lot of these at cafes and Starbucks and stuff. They got great Wi-Fi in Starbucks, and being a mobilepreneur, I can kind of move this laptop wherever I want, you know? So cool.
Right.
Now where are you located? You're in Michigan or something, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just outside of Ann Arbor, just north of
like
Ann
that
Arbor.
Little hand thing.
Yeah. Well, the University of Michigan. I don't know if I could do that.
That's how they do it.
Yeah, the University of Michigan. If you know where that is, that's basically where I am.
So, Drew, I never even knew. Are you married? You got kids? What's your deal?
Not married, no kids.
How did you manage that?
I don't know.
I don't have any kids, but I did get married, so. So let's talk a little bit about what you do. I know that you're involved with some health products and things like that, or not health, but more weight loss type.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, more directed towards weight loss. We've got a program, a system that was actually designed by a Yale-trained cardiovascular surgeon, Dr. Dwight Lundell. And his passion after he got away from actually doing open heart surgeries and holding hearts in hands is he decided that while he was doing great work as a cardiovascular surgeon, that he was actually doing more plumbing than he was actually fixing. He wanted to go more upstream. And as he dug in, he found out that, discovered that it was really chronic inflammation that was causing the biggest problems of overweight and obesity. And he went to try to find what the actual source of that problem was. And what he discovered is that it's actually overconsumption of sugar and carbs, which is causing the sugar spikes. And so his about 5 years ago now, he's spent the last 5 years designing products specifically to address the sugar spikes, and we're having great success with it.
So I can imagine that, because it's really hard to get away from sugar these days. I'm having a coffee with some milk in it, and it's got it's rice milk, but there's a little bit of sugar in the rice and the vanilla flavoring and all that. And like McDonald's, don't they put sugar in their French fries or something?
Yeah, well, and it's not because we're eating dessert. That's the big issue. If people think sugar, they think, well, I'm not eating cake. Well, unfortunately, sugar's in everything you eat. You just mentioned it. And the big food companies know what they're doing. They put sugar in everything, so we get addicted to it. And so what we've done is created a program that can help break that addiction.
Perfect. So then you just don't crave that, or you crave something that's a little more healthy, or maybe, you got to have a little bit of sugar. I suppose it maybe gets directed in the right spot instead of around that muffin top or something.
Well, yeah, basically what we do is we once we help people break the addiction, we actually empower them, Brad. And it's another big difference between our program and what most others offer. With the other products, typically what the powers in the program, whether it's the shakes or whether it's the meal replacements or the counting of the calories or whatever it might be, we're not in competition with them. If you're helping somebody lose weight, that's great. We love it, But the difference is that what we do is we help break that addiction to the sugars and carbs. And once we do that, we give people a guide, and we say, for the rest of your life, if you stick with eating these foods, once you break that addiction and you don't crave that other bad food anymore, you stick with eating these and you'll keep this weight off permanently.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So it's almost of a lifestyle kind of thing.
It's exactly a lifestyle kind of thing.
Totally get it, because I know that there's some people that have these other lifestyles where it's Fridays and Saturday nights are really important to them, and they go and they party. I'm a non-drinker. I don't consume any alcohol, so that helps me stay a little bit healthy and trim. I still got that little muffin top. I can maybe talk to you about getting empowered and shifting the way that I eat or consume or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that once you break that addiction, your body really loves you for it, and we just watch people shrink all over the place.
Well, I can imagine. I mean, you go to some cultures, there's not a lot of obesity in those cultures because that's the way that they eat and they're a little more active. But some of these things, everything is like have it right now and just throw it down your throat and then sit in front of the computer and do nothing. You got to
Well,
stay active.
yeah, a lot of people think it's the inactivity, and that could be some of it. I mean, the reality is that 70, 80 years ago, there were no gyms in the world, so now we've got lots of places for people to go, go be active, and yet we still have this problem. And that's why I really fully got behind Dr. Lundell and his program because it's a completely different approach. And there's lots of ways to eat fast and healthy.
So, curious, have you met this guy, this doctor guy?
Yeah, that's a great question. We had an event a couple of yeyears ago, and it's interesting. You get to meet people online. I've seen lots of videos. I've talked to him on the phone. I interviewed him while we were launching this program 5 years ago initially, and just starting to put everything together. But there's nothing like getting face to face. We had an event. The company's based out of Phoenix, and at the time we just added a new president to the company. The company's name is Asante. And I went to the event, and I actually got to meet Dr. Lundell. And the interesting part is I met him after he ran the Kona Ironman contest that year. It was actually 2 days after he had ran the event. So it's kind of fun when you meet somebody that has run an event like that, and you admired him, and you get to shake his hand and talk to him about how he's developed the products and what his goals are. It's just a great thing to do, to go to events. And I actually got to meet the president. I never met him before, so yeah, a lot of fun to go into events and meet people.
Well, I've got it. That's what I do is event background. I've always thought it's interesting that you can get to meet people, and part of my mission is to move this online chatter into real life activity. Like you and I have never actually met, but we've talked a lot on Skype, so we kind of know each other. But someday we'll be able to actually connect. And like I Skyped for about a year with a guy from the UK, and him and I went to a conference in Cabo San Lucas, and we got to meet. And I thought, hey, you're a lot taller than I thought you were on Skype. So I think that's important that a person uses these events to be able to meet people and find out, like, is this doctor a real doctor? And because a lot of this stuff you see on the internet, even like phony interviews and all that stuff, you can't really trust them. But when you can go talk to this guy and get his card and see that, what's the name of the company again? Can you spell it?
Yeah, Asante, Asantae.
Got it, Asante. Cool beans.
Yeah,
Well,
there's nothing like getting. This is great because it's fast. It's a easy way to meet without going outside of your house. But there's nothing like face-to-face contact and actually getting a feel for who that person is, and getting to know their values, and establishing the know, like, and trust. And that's people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So events are a big deal. You're on the you're in a great business to help people connect that way too.
Well, I also don't like to keep these things too long because people do have their lives to go out and do things, so I keep them kind of short. And then what happens here is I beam this up to the internet, and people find it through contextual and keywords and all that kind of stuff, and you never know who might connect. And so if there's anything else that you want to share before we sign off, do you have any programs or products or events or anything that's coming up that you want people to know about?
Well, I would like to just mention that the program we offer we call it the New You 60-Day Transformation System. And we call it that for very, very specific reasons. And I'm not going to get into a lot of detail because we don't have any time, but I will say this. It's the first program that I've ever heard about, and I've been in the weight loss industry or around the weight loss industry for over 20 years. It's the first one. If you catch this, you'll get the difference. It's the first one that offers fast, easy, effortless, and permanent weight loss results. And what I mean by fast is if you follow what we suggest that you do, and it's pretty easy to do, you'll lose between 3 and 12 pounds in 3 days.
Wow. Holy smokes.
And yeah, it's incredible, and it gives people the confidence in the ability to actually follow the program this time, and that's a critical component of our success.
Okay, if you have any web links or email addresses or phone numbers you want me to include when I put this out there, please send those to me on Skype or wherever, and I'll get
Sure.
them patched in.
I'd be happy to, Brad. Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time on Synergy Cafe. Peace, love, and happiness,
Hey,
Drew. Enjoy.
thanks, Brad.